Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in A Desolate Dark Crusade Season 2. Tonight, we see the halls of Elysium open once more. The Marble Castle, the Ivory Tower, as it's currently known as. A structure made almost entirely of marble, as it turns out. Made in a Greco-Roman fashion for anyone who has not yet visited. Walled off from the rest of the district it resides within, which, funnily enough, is actually not the guild halls. Oh no. It rests within, if my own writing is correct, the central market. It's actually the domain of the Ravnos, not the Toreador. And it is in these halls that we begin our scene. So how does everybody walk into the Elysium? I'll describe it to you as you approach it. Mina, go.
But why me first? I've never been to an Elysium. Gee, fuck.
Yeah. On the spot, go. So, for everyone who's new, Elysium is sacred ground where none may be transgressed upon, so long as they do not do so first. It is kept by a keeper of Elysium, a court position. Generally a person of good standing, considering the title itself is a fount of status. And they get to dictate what the rules are for Elysium. The rules for this Elysium are fairly standard. Don't succumb to frenzy, don't commit to violence, don't provoke frenzy, don't use disciplines, and come in at least some form of presentable fashion. You don't need to be wearing the clothing of the aristocracy, but you are expected to look presentable.
Well, all right.
And to always have good manners.
My manners are the best, sir.
Mm-hmm. You show proper etiquette, basically, to everyone before you, particularly those of elder status. But those are the main rules. Nothing too complicated. The area itself, it's basically a very large building, which it's basically two stories high, but it's very big. Like each floor is like just many foot higher than your average house. It's 2 floors to this building. 1 floor to this building is probably 2 to 3 floors for a standard like living space.
So then ballroom ceilings, though, like
yeah, basically ballroom ceiling. And it's walled off. Heavily guarded. You can see that there's a significant amount of security about. All armed professionals, all heavily armored. 2 stand outside the walls by the main entrance, which is basically just two wooden gates with metal rims. When you walk in, you're basically presented with a garden and kind of a trail that leads up to a stairway. The garden is absolutely magnificent. All the flora is native to the region, but it is impeccably maintained. On top of this, you can see numerous sculptures which, like the garden, look as if they were designed for royalty, not the aristocracy, for royalty. And there is truly no craftwork that you've ever seen that even comes close to matching this stonework.
Well, all right. Even if I have to go first,
is...
I will assume that Mina can watch someone else go through first to get an idea of how this goes here, and then we'll follow suit.
You wait awkwardly.
I will be so awkward.
For convenience sake, Aldrich arrives in his finest set of dark and wine-colored robes. He does so by himself, hands clasped behind his back, and prepared for a shindig. Yeah, steps up to the guards, presents himself. Does what I assume is a fairly regular exchange of "Yes, I am this person. Let me into the party."
They look at you. The guards have been notified of all Canaanites within the area and all who are permitted or expected to attend. They nod at you, bow slightly in deference, and simply allow you to pass through. They're not on your way, but they're either sides to the open gate, so you can literally just walk on through after they bow to you and just say, "Of course, sir, have a pleasant evening."
Thank you. As he does, he will turn his head and notice one such Mina.
Dun dun dun.
Aren't you coming?
And yeah, there is the aforementioned awkwardness, though she gives a bob of head and will go ahead and move up to the gates and introduce herself to the guards, kind of copying whatever format Aldrich might have used.
Born on two legs under the crescent moon.
Yes, exactly. Just like that. And while she is not like a super noble style loaded, she's probably wearing what I imagine or something like reasonably high quality like upper merchant level clothing. So not bad. Definitely not the best, but
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you don't look bad. By any stretch of the imagination, in fact, you look fairly wealthy. But they take out their parchment real quick. There's something of note to you is that they are in fact reading, and seem to do so with a fair degree of speed and fluency. And they look at you for a moment, and they just say, "Hold on, my lady. If I may ask, do you have your mentor accompanying you this evening?"
I do not.
Do you have someone who can serve as such for this evening?
She'll kind of... She's not even going to necessarily shoot Aldrich a hopeful look because, let's be fair, they don't have an especially... they ain't that kind of close friends. He doesn't want to be responsible for her ass. And she just eventually kind of gives a glance to see if anyone that she is better familiar with is in, but all things considered, finally gives a light shrug. No.
The guard kind of with two clasped fingers just motions to the other and just points towards the door to Elysium, which is just further up the stairway. Kind of after passing after heading up the short dirt path. He runs off. He says, "Very well done. Have a pleasant evening, my lady." We will bow gratefully. Well, gracefully, sorry. For a guy clad in heavy armor, at least. Do you have a dog with you? Do you have Doggo with you?
I do not have Alonzo with me. That didn't seem a pro.
Ah, you're learning.
I wish I was a craftsman and I could just make like one of those fancy floofy like neck tutus that people had back then for Alonzo, so he could come into Elysium. Yeah,
that would be amazing. Little doggo suit.
There you go, resource action.
As
Sorry,
you,
I'll shut up.
as both of you walk in, you see numerous statues along the trail. There's actually quite a few of them. There's several on each side of the garden, which again is impeccably well maintained. It's just an absolutely gorgeous arrangement, like just an array of just colors kind of bombards your vision. But you notice the statues are all generally looking in different directions. Some looking up, some looking down. A lot are at least two are looking towards the trail, and one that you kind of see above the doorway to Elysium. You begin to walk up the stairs, and you see that there's kind of like a man-made, like two little man-made riverways, almost like miniature aqueducts, kind of running down the side of the stairs, and that lead up to the entrance to Elysium. And you notice that it literally circles around the entire. It goes down to the insides of the walls and circles back around.
Well, hot damn.
In a fairly convoluted yet meticulous fashion. And you notice this statue, in particular, just kind of gives you this piercing gaze. Would you like to make a perception awareness check, the both of you?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
You're being watched.
Psst.
You there.
Say, buddy.
Avert your eyes or I will pluck them from your skull.
Three things.
You said difficulty 6.
Yeah. Okay. So Mina, you definitely feel like it's kind of like that. You know that feeling you get when someone's. Well, yeah. You definitely. Actually, no. You feel like you're being directly stared at by this statue. That's just kind of looking down at you from above the the kind of rather big grand doors to the Elysium that are actually again kind of wood with metal rims, but it's very kind of has like this kind of how to say, these kind of metal implements that are designed to make it look more appealing to the eye in many different colors, reds and yellows largely. But you notice the statue and definitely feel like you're being watched. Aldrich, do you feel like you're being watched from many different angles? You can definitely sense a presence.
Mina is not beyond broadly smiling to the statue because she is herself tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, Aldrich's cold demeanor is going to well, we'll see a crack in the ice. So he smiles a bit, but otherwise does not act to provoke or give away that he knows.
Irene, Actually, no. Before we do that, before we bully Irene, you're both able to head into the Elysium. So the first entrance is it's basically like what's the word for it? I'm losing all my words today. I apologize. Yeah, it's literally just it's like an entrance hall, right? It's a small hall.
A grand foyer.
Yeah, foyer. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. You're better at this than me.
This happened exactly.
So the entrance is a
last time.
fairly large area with walls composed of smooth carved stone that upon closer inspection make up certain artistic pieces of that appear to be emotional in nature, stuff like love, loss, power. They are very, very old, decades if not longer. You can tell just by kind of the styling and the fact that this Elysium has been here longer than most of you have. It's very well lit. There are torches lighting the way to the main plaza, but they're all kept they're kept well away from you. They're quite a bit above you, so you don't feel particularly uncomfortable near the flame. And there are two stairs that twist up to each other, up to each side of the second floor. Sorry, not up to each other. Presumably, you enter into the main plaza.
I'm assuming so. Seems legit.
Wherever the most eyes may see me.
Yeah, you can see the main plaza from the foyer because it's literally just straightforward and the doors are open. It's the most lavish room in the building, and it's the size of a large ballroom. The room itself, again, at Greco-Roman fashion, has large pillars. I keep everything upright. And they're actually large beds. And these kind of soft, these basically covered large benches on each side of the room, where there are basically mortals in a state of unconsciousness, basically there to be fed off of. The ceiling has an extremely large painting. And is basically something of a fairy tale of sorts. Basically of an army of unknown origin crusading against malformed monstrosities, which have rather disconcerting similarities to the Tismisi. There is a back entrance that you can kind of vaguely see as you enter. It's all the way at the back. That exits into basically the back garden area. And great red banners adorn the balconies of the second floor, where you can see some Cainites conversing in their own time. However, it should be stated that the atmosphere for this Elysium is fairly tense and a little bit subdued due to the state the city is in. Has spread to the spirits of the Cainites. Now we can go to Irene. Irene, you're very, very tired.
Yeah, and she's wearing a long necklace that has like a sort of pendant that is basically a mirror, just a tiny mirror. Just, you know, I will shine reflections on all of you guys right now. Yeah, she'll make her way over to Elysium as well. As well, neatly as she possibly can right now with all the etiquette that she has at her disposal. She'll curtsy in front of the guards and will name herself.
Yeah, they let you through.
Oh.
Should have asked.
Yeah, she'll basically get in as well. Like, this wasn't that much.
Want to make that perception awareness check, buddy?
Sure, let me make that perception. Let me see if I can actually make that perception awareness check.
Yeah, you do lose 3 dice because
I know. Oh, well, I have 1 success.
Okay, you get the vague feeling that you are being watched, although you can't tell what from or where.
That's not, in this condition, very comfortable.
No.
So, yeah, she'll just kind of hold on to the mirror, and we'll use it to glance around the hallway once. Hopefully in a fashion that no one will really notice her Malkavian-like behavior. And yeah, she'll walk through.
Yep. You're presented to much the same display that Aldrich and Mina have. And yeah, you can head up to the balconies or the main plaza. I presume head to the main plaza.
Sure. I think she's kind of aimlessly wandering around at this point and trying to discern what's real, what's not.
Gerard. Oh, Gerard.
Gerard is storming this place like he owns it, or had at one point in his history.
When Gerard walks in, Aldrich looks at him in slow motion, like a teenage girl, to the football captain.
It's impressive, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, those statues, Gerard gives 0 fucks. He doesn't even stop to acknowledge them.
Oh yeah. The guards don't even bother to stop you either. Like, you're a known quantity here and an Ursula. No one fucking even bothers to get in your way. You can just walk past. The guards don't even have time to bow or react.
Yes.
They're like, yep, that guy's going in.
Well, that was brief. Yeah. I'm here.
Yep. Everyone, Gerard is here.
Gerard will be met with every ounce of etiquette that I have into a very proper bow of greeting and hello. It's good to see you.
But is he real, though?
That's always the question. Gerard will reach out and place a hand on Aldrich's shoulder, indicating that he need not stand on ceremony here.
Yeah, he'll stop mid-action then, of course, and meet him and say, well met, how have you been?
Busy.
Is such the time and place to discuss?
No.
Soon then, I hope.
Possibly.
So what brings us to Elysium then?
Excuse me. Cough. Gerard simply gestures around and says, I can't miss all of them.
Indeed.
The keeper sees the little group of well, a diverse set of Canaanites. We'll just briefly walk up to you all. For anyone who hasn't seen the Toreador Primogen before, she is a woman who has very long running white hair. Her skin is as white as the marble itself. It's almost unnaturally pale even for Canine standards. She almost blends in into the environment and just seems to move in ever most graceful fashion around, just kind of flitting around, speaking with all the guests. Always noticed but never really seen. Until she approaches you. She's wearing a very fine, aristocratic dress that contrasts with her pale skin and almost silver hair, snow white hair.
Gerard will show due deference.
The deepest and most respectful of bows.
She curtsies to the two allies of her clan in a very graceful fashion, kind of with a slight turn, so her dress splays out a little bit.
Milady.
She's putting on a display.
You look ravishing this evening. Simply radiant.
You flatter me, Aldrich. Good evening to you both.
And to you.
You are both looking very fine this evening.
You expected less.
I would expect nothing less.
Bitch, we fabulous.
Fleek. And how have you been? It's been some time since we'd met.
Eventful.
Quite.
Indeed. These are dark times.
Indeed. Very strange tidings these nights. Alas.
Speaking of which, I don't suppose you would be interested in the princedom of the town Bira nearby, would you?
She quirks an eyebrow. You force me to look up shit. Yes. Bira. I've heard that it's recently fallen into the hands of your clan.
I've heard that as well. Although my understanding was that it was more of a internal uprising.
Prince Camille now.
I never heard the
I'm
name.
sure she'll make OC, did she actually never tell you her name? I'm pretty sure she did.
No, she did, but Gerard can't be bothered to remember.
Yeah.
Zero empathy.
Fair. Yes. I'm sure your clan will be the most caring and upright of stewards. As your reputation portends. A shame that it was so poorly maintained beforehand.
I do believe that is the kindest disparaging remark I've ever heard of such a place like that. Trust me.
Just because
I had better words for it.
Oh, have you had the pleasure of visiting said domain?
Maybe. Possibly. It
There's
is.
a slight edge to her smile.
It is quite along the way.
Oh yes, and although it may be small and insignificant, it is no excuse not to handle it with care.
We shall see.
Prince
The domain
Camille,
like any.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Aldrich was just going to remark, Prince Camille, wasn't?
Yes. Or so it would
Long,
seem.
long may he reign.
She.
Long may she reign.
Oh, now Aldrich.
Out
You should
of
be
character,
more
act
up to
like a
date
fucking
with the
intelligence
comings and
2 over
goings
here.
of nearby domains.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, the Primogen playfully scorns you. Not even know a neighboring prince's gender.
He goes, oh.
This draws the
And,
attention.
He very playfully waves his hand.
Well,
Yeah.
the thought had crossed my mind to bring it to your attention if it was not already. In case you're interested in any way, shape, or form. Distractions of the outside are ever so welcome these nights, are they not?
Be kind of scorning and kind of everyone kind of talking amongst each other about foreign domains and such. Begins to draw the attention of another woman, seemingly of Arabic descent, long, actually fairly reddish hair. Although her skin is quite dark. It's not jet black. But it's far darker than her ethnicity, or the fact that she's a Canite would suggest. She should look fairly pale for a Canite. Instead, her skin is quite dark. It's almost gone a very dark grey. She ends up walking over to you. Bows and flourishes so. Says hi to the keeper.
Oh,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I couldn't just overhear the conversation. So much happening outside of Odessa nowadays. One would think all of you are missing out on the fun.
I found ways to entertain myself.
indeed. Are there things within the walls that you've partaken in, madam?
Oh, I'm fairly new to this domain, so I couldn't say much. Just a bit here, and some more there. The city is ever so fascinating. It's almost as if every district is its own city.
Out of character. Should I know this person?
Nope. My apologies. I'm Talitha, Ancile of Clan Assamite and local harpy for the Timuran domain.
I should have known. My apologies.
You really should have, but I accept.
Indeed, I've been hearing more and more about Timuran in Odessa's borders. I wonder how many Timuranians spend so much of their time here.
I apologize for my friend. I'm Gerard, Ensela of Clan Ventru. No doubt you've heard of me. This is Aldrich the Wise of Clan Tremere.
He bows.
Oh, what a pleasure it is to meet you both. In the city only a few weeks. I've already heard your names since before I met you. Your reputations are far-reaching.
Flattering ones, I hope.
She remains silent for a moment, kind of bobbing her head back and forth as if to decide. For one of you, I'll let you flip a coin and figure it out for yourselves.
Oh, how disingenuous.
Aldrich is going to reach into the pocket of his robes and pull out absolutely nothing. But he's going to pantomime holding a coin. And then he's going to pantomime flicking it into the air. He will look at it with his eyes, following it. Will open his palm and pantomime catching it. And then he will open his hand and point to Gerard.
Ah, well. Great men have to take...
You're not very popular these nights.
Great men have to take their reputations with a grain of salt. The conquered often whine of the ravages of the strong.
Ooh, you're a conqueror now.
Best
I need to
beware.
reassess my coins. For reference, Mina and Irene, you've been, well, Mina's been completely ignored. Irene gets sideways glances at times, just because she's the child of someone relevant.
Nina likes it this way. Do continue.
Irene does not like it that way and will, like, draw a little bit further towards the wall.
Gufron, however,
when
will
she-
enter Elysium
Oh, God.
in a normal fashion because it's Elysium and you don't cause ruckus in Elysium.
Exactly.
sure.
You have
You would.
class, Mina. Yeah.
Mayna. Wait, what?
Yeah, no. So there are recently 2 guards at the kind of walls to Elysium. Yeah, so the outside is walled off. There's no indication of what's going on inside. You can see a small guard at the front. The guards will ask you who you are. I presume you tell them.
Yes. In full splendor and
You're allowed
glory.
in. You're allowed in.
Excellent.
You're able to enter the main foyer, where you're not particularly uncomfortable with all the torches because they're held quite high above you because it's quite a high up building. Kind of ballroom ceilings, as Katie referred to, and you're able to enter the main plaza, where you see Mina, Aldrich, Gerard, and Irene, and an unfamiliar-looking woman and a Toreador primogen. Although the Toreador primogen appears to be detaching herself from the conversation, and will simply say, "Well, it appears you're in good company. I hope you have a most splendid evening, my dear guests."
The best company, it would seem.
And you as well, my lady.
She will bow and twirl once more. Oh, curtsy. And will flit off to another part of the Elysium.
Yep.
And yeah.
Gufron will appear beside Irene. Be like,
Okay. Irene will curtsy to Gufran and just with the curtsy, because that's really great. Things are moving, and you can just, kind of aim that mirror that's hanging around your neck in a way that you can actually see if Gufran has a reflection or not, and if he's real or not.
guess he's real?
Okay.
Oh yeah. Where's Mina, by the way? Is Mina standing with the other fledgling?
Yeah, I imagine Mina has swooped up on Irene, and I assume, is Irene notably twitchy? Or,
I mean, I
plucking at
think
her skirt,
especially Mina
staring
with
at you.
especially Mina with recent experience just can tell like tell signs of yeah.
Then yeah, feel free to assume Mina will also. And it's not full bore crazy, but she does do one of her over the top curtsies for Gufran because she can't help herself. And if she catches her fiddling with that, oh look, a mirror. Oh boy, will she be just
Gufran.
so delighted.
Gufran
Oh.
will return the over-the-top flamboyancy and be like, oh. Not, however, bowing too deep because you're a fledgling.
Of course. No, it's obviously just a playful gesture. Obviously.
But yes, there's the oh.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, Gerard will make his way over to Gufran, seeing as how he is flamboyantly entered and not acknowledged in the room.
You know what? Maybe the most important person in the room isn't,
No shot.
doesn't have the mindset of Gufran.
Anyway, Gerard will make his way over to Gufran, look down upon him, and say, your recent wares were acceptable.
Ah, my lord, I am so glad that they were satisfactory. And he will bow when Gerard addresses him.
I do hope that my continued patronage will be of no issue for you.
None whatsoever.
He looks to the other two. Yes. Yes, Irene.
They're gonna.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I remember someone's arrangement works like this. Yeah, Mina, you noticed that too, because a mirror's just kind of being waved around.
I mean,
You noticed
waved
that
around.
doesn't have a reflection.
I'm not sure that she's going to be able to see the small mirror on her necklace well enough to see the reflection, but she'll see that she's checking it.
Yeah.
At the very least. And if she starts acting
Oh yeah, this
funny,
is-
she'll catch a little elbow, and it's like, he's real. Don't. It's like, I see him too. Stop it.
I mean, she sees Gufran interact with him, so.
someone's getting sanguineous tonight.
What?
No,
I don't
actually,
know what you're
no,
talking
it's
about.
not sanguineous. That's not your thing.
Nope.
No.
No. That's
No.
a
You
thing
won't
I
see
do.
anything, but you will hear the voices.
Their
God damn it.
voices?
Nope. Not you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No, that's all me.
That's cool.
However, someone does end up approaching this group of fledglings and neonates. He's a rather familiar figure,
And then Scylla.
veiled as he is before, in similar practical attire, but not unpresentable by any means.
Damn it.
Oh no.
Ah, yes.
Oh, look, it's our best friend.
Just ends up entering the Elysium, and since you're fairly close to the entrance, just kind of ends up standing on the periphery.
Perfection in motion.
I am being so good right now, okay? You.
I feel this is
GTFO.
a death trap.
Do you see that shroud hiding his face?
Please tell
That's
Daddy that I
right,
love
yeah,
him.
Gerard
he
finds
just
himself
says-
bored and leaves.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, this satisfies him. He only ends up walking near to this group of fledglings and neonates. Just walks straight past Gerard, perhaps both of them just pretending that neither is there.
100%.
And he simply looks at all three of you and says, I should have figured.
Can I help you, good sir?
What a happy,
Brief curtsy
This
and a
is
smile and
a
lots of
mirth.
hair twirling.
a happy coincidence.
Curtsy. Mirror chat.
There you go. He simply kind of eyes all of you up.
Chris, is this dude a neonate or an ancilla?
He's an ancilla.
God damn it.
Yeah, you can't sass this boy.
Don't worry, we can just match outrageous curtsy for outrageous bow. It'll be good.
Oh yeah. Curtsies are happening.
This is a happy coincidence. Seems like we just keep finding each other. We have to stop meeting like this.
Worst pickup line in Canine society ever.
He looks at you. Sorry.
She didn't say that. Sorry, that was me. I thought I was muted.
My apologies, good sir, but I do not believe we have met face to face yet. I am Gushram Wasem. How are you this fine night?
I'm doing fairly. Hopefully. More adequately by the time this Elysium is at an end.
More adequately, you say?
Elysiums aren't held simply so that we can wheel and deal. We do that in our own time.
Very true.
I'm sure
However,
as a
they
man
are.
of business and culture, you're very much aware of this.
They are also great places to socialize.
Hmm. He looks at Mina.
As long as the most simple rules of etiquette are upheld.
Mina's just so delighted to see him. So delighted. And has taken to probably playing with her, twirling a bit of her hair, like where it's hanging around over her ears.
He starts staring at you.
You know,
You've been
I
ever
just
so quiet.
I hear that's the appropriate way to be. Children are meant to be seen, not heard. Just a touch of the playful smile. It's definitely a little more low-key at the moment.
He bends forward a little bit, looks directly at you, literally lowers himself to your eye level. He's probably like half a head taller than you are at least. He's a fairly tall fellow. And Mina, I imagine, is kind of short.
She's not especially short, but yeah, she's definitely going to be shorter than him. I mean, she ain't especially tall for a woman. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume that his eyes are normal eyeballs, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect.
He looks directly at you after lowering himself to your eye level and only being a few inches away from your face, and says, "You don't believe that, do you?"
And she will do a weird thing, and rather than looking into his eyes, kind of flits a glance across the surface of them. And I assume that, you know, his eyes are normal and reflective, and she can see herself in his eyes.
You were so good at drawing attention before. This isn't exactly a conversation being held in private, by the way. So Talif is probably having a back and forth conversation between Gerard and Aldrich and ends up skipping on over. Oh, what did the children do this time?
I guess at this point, Hakeem will walk into Elysium, and he seems to be dressed appropriately, and he
You only need to look presentable.
I guess he's looking for the seneschal or somebody official so he can like introduce himself and let individuals know that he's here.
He will be stopped just to see. Well, a little after he enters, Madeline will just come over and just look at him and just, our intrepid firefighter. To see you again.
He will smile. How are you?
I am quite well. It is good to see you again.
I have to say that it must be more interesting than before. Well, it's not as interesting as before, but I hope that you can take me for what I am right now.
Oh, it is quite alright. It is a place for us to relax. It is, well, let us hope that the smell of, well, the sense of burning things is kept to a minimum.
We can only hope. Again, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh yeah.
She curtsies.
Is she coming towards me?
Yeah. You're aware that Toreador Primogen is in fact the keeper of Elysium.
Okay. Deep bow.
Surprisingly enough, I believe in Ravnos' domain again, if my writing's not completely incorrect. Yeah, it is. That's funny. Yeah, she flicks on over, graciously bows towards you. Let's see. Shair, welcome to Elysium.
Thank you. How's the night fare for you, my lady?
Tragic. If it weren't for my little oasis to flit away to. She kind of gestures to the Elysium. The prince is expecting you.
He'll smile. I don't mean any disrespect, so I don't believe I should keep him waiting. I don't have anything on me.
Wise. No, yeah, it should be noted, if any of you had any weapons on you, they would have been seized on you upon entry. But yeah, she'll simply say, first floor, right balcony, third door on the right. You can actually notice it from where you're standing because the balconies are visible from the ground floor. And you can see there's actually a fair amount of security around that area. Like, this area has what appear to be guards within it. About half a dozen guards on the ground floor. There were about 3 outside, 2 at the gates, then 1 at the door. And then there's literally half another dozen just by that door, just around that area.
And he will excuse himself and make his way to see the prince. Up the stairs.
You just have to head back into the entrance foyer and head back up the stairs. Other than that, you make your way up there. You pass a few Canaanites on the way up there. You seem to pique their interest as you're new in town, which, considering the direction you're heading, doesn't really surprise them too much. And you eventually get to the door where the the door to where the prince should be residing within.
Mm-hmm.
The guards ask you for your name.
Hakim Al-Shaya. I was told I was expected.
One moment, sir. One of the guards heads on into the room. 5 seconds pass, heads back out. You may enter.
And he takes a step inside.
Before you enter, I'm just going to let you in on some of the stuff you know about the prince.
Mm-hmm.
You know that he's an elder Cappadocian, and has controlled the city for around approximately 60 to 70 years. You're not entirely sure on a date, but by Canine standards, a fairly brief period of time. But it's a point where it's beginning to stabilize.
Okay.
He's had the city for enough decades that his rule is starting to become the norm. And you know that he has a reputation for being very offhands. It's a bit unusual that he's meeting you directly. Probably a consequence of Elysium being held.
Mm.
And you see before you, compared to everyone else in the Elysium, or a lot of people in the Elysium, he looks fairly simply dressed. He's simply wearing simple brown robes. He has a fairly thick beard to him. Looks extremely pale, even more so than other Canaanites, and not in the alluring way that the Primogen is.
Mm-hmm.
Who kind of looks almost like a marble statue. He looks deathly pale. His eyes are sunken into his head. He looks like he's had no sleep for weeks, months, years. His facial features aren't particularly well pronounced, although for someone who looks who is a Cappadocian and has their affliction,
Mm-hmm.
looks surprisingly well to do. Although his features are somewhat deathly, they don't impede his bearing that much at all.
Mm.
He looks fairly handsome. It's like a distraction from his other qualities. Although he does look quite old. He looks like he's in his 60s. Like he was beginning to get on a bit after he was before he was embraced.
Good evening, Your Grace.
He does not stand up from his chair. He's behind a desk, but he will simply, very calmly, with one hand, in a very fairly mechanical motion, gesture towards a chair, and will simply say, "Take a seat."
Takes a seat.
Hakim Al-Shaya of Clan Assamite, if I am so well informed.
Indeed you are, my grace.
How has your night been so far? Are you enjoying the Elysium?
The regular hustle and bustle reminds me of home. It's warm, welcoming, a testament to your reign.
then your praise might be more well directed to the keeper and the former prince. But they were here before I. This Elysium stands as a testament to their own accomplishments. I would not dare to claim what they are due.
Then I thank you for your gentle correction.
You are welcome. What brings you to my domain?
I bring you here. I bring myself to this domain firstly for a new start. From my previous journeys, I find myself looking for a stable home, and I hope that Allah saw fit to bring me here. I hope to make this my home.
He gives you this fairly stiff smile, and he's looking directly at you with these sunken eyes. Studies your statement for a moment, or at least appears to, as he just seems perfectly still for but 2 seconds before saying, "And what drove you from your prior home?"
It was a home where, as most seasons come and go, such my season in my previous home was over. We do not stay places where there's no more to learn, no more to know, no more to gain. You continue to move and grow. It's not good to remain stagnant. Stagnant things that don't grow invite a laziness, an idling of the mind.
Then I believe you'll find yourself quite preoccupied here. We are a most diverse domain for the times. I hope you forgive the presence of the Tremere.
There is a look of, it's not my city, and I can't comment on what you do and don't do. So there's a polite silence.
He'll simply give a nod to your silence. Reasserts his posture on the chair. Have you met your primogen?
I have sent word to my primogen for a more formal meeting. I suppose they are more preoccupied with their business, and I assume when they find more time, they will reach out.
This city stands in a unique position compared to all others, which leaves many of the elder kind busy with larger scale arrangements. However, I'm sure he can find the time. What would you like to acquire during your time here? He doesn't blink during any of this.
Mm-hmm. Much like a shepherd to his flock, I require more of a richer understanding, a more diverse and fulfilling flock. Minds that can be sculpted, made new, to serve a purpose. All things in heaven and earth have a purpose. Do not have purpose, you do not have meaning. Do not have meaning, you're less than dirt.
I see. But I would advise caution. For the pre-existing flock has become withered, broken, decrepit through their failings and sin.
I thank you for your counsel.
Well, we are all children of the night. Humanity has proven itself the only true bearers of sin, and with that, they carry its curse here, as I'm sure you've been made painfully aware.
I'm not of assertion. He agrees with me.
I see no reason not to welcome you into this city. I consider you, for the moment, recognized within my domain. Mind for traditions, our treaties, and above all, God's providence. Good evening.
I will guard your sayings close to my heart, Your Grace.
He'll nod. And look down, finally breaking eye contact with you after about a good 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, basically allow you to leave.
Before he
At least you
leaves,
think.
before he leaves, he'll say it would be exceedingly rude for me not to have something for you. I do not take your hospitality for granted, as he places a small vial on his desk. The liquid's rather translucent, but something from my wish, Your Grace. I hope you'll find some use for it.
Your tribute is noted. The vial just moves towards him.
So he's seen enough in his days where it doesn't really faze him. And
Yeah. Another thing actually notices a chill wind, like in the room itself. Actually, would you like to make a perception awareness check? Because I should have had you roll this when you entered.
Sure.
Gufran, you can do the same. I don't think either of you did so.
How what?
You can make a perception awareness check. I should have had you roll this when you entered.
I don't believe Madeline did as well.
I think Madeline.
One success.
One six.
Which dice roll are we in?
Yeah, we're on
just
dice
did
roll one.
Oh, okay.
Dice roll of 1? Okay, gotcha. Fail.
You get one success. You when you entered the domain, you saw this. You saw this statue. You had the vague sense that you were being observed.
What do I get with 1, 2, 3, 4 successes?
You don't really know how it's happening, but you believe the statues are acting as sentinels in a fashion.
Creepy.
It appears they're able to observe you and take into account what you're doing. That's what I appear to be.
Actually, can I get an intelligence occult?
Yes.
Okay.
It won't give you too much information because this is more to do with Canite law.
Can I have that instead?
Yeah, you can. You can roll that instead. What's your level in Canite law?
I believe you gave me 2 dots starting. And this is my first downtime.
Yeah. In which case, then yeah, the information you get will be somewhat limited, but you will be able to still roll for it at standard diff.
Okay.
Could other individuals that succeeded on said aforementioned roll make a canine low roll?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm feeling froggy, so I'll burn a point of willpower. Why not?
Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, the more Canite law you have, the more information you get per success.
4 successes.
3 successes for you.
Well, what the willpower makes 4.
Oh yeah, willpower makes 4. But you have more Canite law.
It's fine.
Yeah, Hakeem. You're not entirely sure, because there are quite a lot of. There's the capacity for a lot of powers in play here. Not a lot of which you have a great deal of information on. A lot of it comes down to blood magic, but you're pretty sure it's not that, considering who runs Elysium.
You're pretty sure it's an advanced use of the sight. Like the inverse of Spirit's Touch.
Interesting.
I'm not sure at what level this power is at, or if it's or how often it can be maintained, or to how many objects. You're going to get 2 successes, Aldrich, but you do have one more dot in Canine Law, which does come into play here. You two are you are also aware that this is a use of the sight. You've heard of a particularly advanced use of it. It's called soul bonding, but you're not sure what its limitations are. As a user of Auspex, you'd actually be more. Actually, yeah, both Hakeem and Aldrich, you're both users of Auspex. So actually, yeah, on account of that, also Hakeem, you would notice this very advanced application of the power. You're just not sure what its limitations are, or what its name is. You just know there's an advanced application of Auspex which can do this. Aldrich, you're also aware this is an advanced application of Auspex. You're not sure what its limitations are, though. Just that you can use an object to see for you.
Research.
You're not aware of any Tremere in the city who has displayed the capacity for such a power, but it's a little bit unnerving to that there is a Toreador that can. As this is not a power for the young, shall we say? It's a power for the very old.
Research.
Have fun, dude. But yeah, that's what you two are aware of. That this is an advanced tool for Auspex, is what it comes down to.
Hakeem will kind of cock an eyebrow, gentle smile to himself, and assuming that he's been excused, he'll bow deeply and make his way out.
The chill wind you feel seems entirely distinct from the kind of gazes you've been feeling behind your back. Although you definitely feel the sense of being observed within the air. But perhaps by something else this time. As you kind of leave the room. But yeah, you're able to leave. It's no problem. Yeah, the guards will shut the door on your behalf and stay out of your way and deal with you in a most deferent fashion. As you really make your way back to the group.
He'll thank them and then, I guess, begin socializing on his way down. Nothing too out of the ordinary.
Yeah, you head back down. There is this figure who seems to be staring at Mina. I'm not sure if you've met her yet. So you see this guy basically staring at a fairly petite girl, like as if he's kind of dominating the conversation.
It's clearly none of my business.
Exactly, and you see this woman, whose skin is quite dark, it's very dark grey, has fairly reddish hair, but appears Arabic in descent. You can tell with, you get this for free, judging by the sort of like darkness of her skin, you figure she's probably of your clan and that she's been around for a while. As the clan curse has begun to have a larger impact on her body.
Walk over, a polite bow. Assalamu alaikum.
kind of twirls and curtsies in a very playful fashion.
Mm.
He says, "Ooh, another newcomer." I say that to the prince's office.
He'll smile. How's the evening?
Is it,
Friday? Okay.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask how dark your character's skin was, because you are an Assamite and she'd probably be able to tell if you're one if you've been around for a century or two.
You would definitely know that his complexion is. If somebody has hugged the sun, it looks like it's starting to darken. It's going a little farther than a healthy.
Yeah. It's not like affecting social interactions too much, but it's getting to that point where it's starting.
It's getting to that point where it's starting to be noticeable.
Yeah. I am doing absolutely splendid. I'm Talitha. I'm the harpy of the Timurin court. Just next door to Odessa.
He chuckles a bit and kind of almost there's a look of glee in his eyes, like almost to say really, like they let you like, and like I'm glad.
Oh, so am I. I was just having a wonderful chat with these fine fellows here. Apparently the kids have been getting up to shenanigans again. She actually says shenanigans. It's a new word now.
She says shenanigans. Oh wow.
No, she'll say something a bit more fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Kids have been misbehaving again.
She says kids, which denotes them out of age. So he will say, children have to learn somewhere.
They do have a reputation for making their parents' lives a lot harder. I certainly do.
Well, if their lives are indeed troublesome, far be it for me to offer any correction. That's one way to gather someone's ires, correcting their flock, their younger ones.
Yeah, but sometimes it happens. Step on the wrong toes. Punch the wrong faces. Say the wrong things to the wrong adults. You don't swear at the dinner table.
Well, in that learning phase, I think we all come to understand that not all mistakes are for free.
Oh, and she looks to me now. I think she's learning that right now.
Oh, before I forget, he will reach into his parcel and he'll hand over a small vial of perfume. Hand it over, please. I did it a while ago. This chat goes rather fast, but it's a 6 success perfume. You can have it.
Oh, sorry, I lost half of that statement I liked, sorry.
Oh, he hands her a 6 success bottle of perfume.
Oh, so generous of you. Thank you.
And then he'll smile and say, far be it for me to take up all of your night, but if you find this befitting, please come by. I have a wide variety and selection.
Such a gentleman, I'll be sure to seek you out. I do think I should inspect this little get-together of the younglings. I'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
And when they part,
Again.
Dun, dun, dun.
and when they part, Aldrich slides on up.
Oh,
To,
my favorite person.
to Hakeem,
Oh, okay.
and he says,
Spicy.
he says, "Hey, buddy." No, he doesn't. He says, "Do mine eyes deceive me?"
Evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. I couldn't help but notice.
You can't help but notice.
Yes. You see, I had spent an evening with Johanna, and she shared with me the fragrance you had given her. What was it? Frankincense and lavender, was it?
Yes, indeed.
It was simply delightful.
I'm so happy.
Yes, you certainly sound happy. I was hoping perhaps I could buy some off of you.
Absolutely. Well, the two were gifts for the respected people that they were for, but if you could come down to my shop, I will be more than happy to.
Why I used the word purchase.
You did. You are cutting in and out. I'm catching every other word. I'm not
I
trying
am
to
shit.
I'm not trying to be a dick on purpose.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm sorry. Any better now?
Yeah, you're good.
Apparently not.
Yes.
Hello?
Robbie, I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
I want to buy some perfume.
Absolutely. He says yes.
Have you any on you, or should I meet you later?
Come meet me later. I have something just for you. And there is a twinkle in his eyes.
How enticing.
My apologies, because I've only got 5 minutes. We'll switch on over real quick to the bullied group.
Bullied?
Yeah, somebody's getting pressed hard.
Yeah, Nero's just he's staring the fuck out of Mina.
No, ironically, with the intense staring, especially at that close a distance, she gets a look at her own reflection, reassures herself somewhat, and actually brightens up and blooms into one of her, just broad manic smiles, eyes glinting. And as he presses, kind of just ever so reasonably, we'll point out, even the best behaved child makes mistakes. I'm paying my dues.
Your voices in your head currently, mocking your road. He just looks at you and says, "Oh, I'm sure you will be." Who's your mentor, kid?
And she will dip another little curtsy as she speaks. His name is Gregory.
I'll find him. He's going to owe me.
So kind of you to help.
Don't make that. You sass him, and his eyes just readjust to lock with yours again, and he just says, "Are you mocking me?"
Hardly seems like a smart thing to do.
That doesn't answer my question.
Bitch.
I can't be grateful. I would have been in much worse trouble.
Are you lying?
Of course
Are
not.
you trying to bamboozle him?
No, actually. I mean, she generally just kind of sounds like an asshole, but it's true. She would have been kind of fucked if he hadn't gotten people and had them step in. So she's actually kind of earnestly grateful that people showed up and immediately dispersed the crowd.
Good. I don't put my followers on the line for nothing. Make sure I don't have to do that again.
Of course not.
And if you happen to run into Dagon, do tell him to go see the Prince of the Seneschal before I end up dragging him there myself.
Of course.
Much better. I'll be seeing you all very soon. Hopefully under better circumstances, like this one. Pleasant evening. And as he walks by, he just walks by Gufran and just pats him rather jollily on the shoulder. Good luck out there, by the way.
Always a pleasure. Like I said, as long as the good rules of etiquette are upheld.
Open his attitude right there. And walks off.
Gufran will note that this individual has not given him his name when he asked for it.
Oh, did he not? Okay, sorry. He would have
Nope.
told you his name was Nero. My apologies.
Too late!
We skipped around. I had to keep jump cutting. No, he'll just say his name is Nero.
Oh.
He's an ancestor of Clan Ravnos. He would have told you that as well.
Cool. What do I roll, Katie?
P&A.
P&A? P&E?
P&A.
Hi and I.
What is P&A?
Alertness.
Alertness?
It's spotting something. Unless you're
Alert.
searching for something with a perception empathy. I imagine this is just happening to catch something.
And one successful.
Yeah, I mean it's enough to catch maybe that she has been clenching her jaw a lot and playing an awful lot with her hair, especially like fiddling with it right in front of her ears and whatnot.
I think
magical.
with that, this can continue in a part 2 scene, which I'm not going to be able to attend.
Gasp.
Sad days. But this is the first scene of the new Elysium. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. You may associate with the other glamorous and individuals as you so wish. We shall end the scene there.
With pizza.
Yeah, and a googly-eyed prince. Fuck you, Robbie.